Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan. Joining me is DJ Martinez. I am still in Atlanta right now, and actually just about to fly back out to Kansas City, and woke up this morning to the rumor that Jason David Frank had passed away, and was immediately skeptical of it, like I'm sure most people. And because the initial source was like Geek Ireland, which I've never heard of before, and I was like, what is this? And then the Wikipedia page had already been updated to say that he was dead, and I was like, well, that's very suspicious. And all morning, Power Rangers actors have been pouring out their love for Jason David Frank, and the IMDb page has been updated, and it appears that this is actually legitimate and has happened. And Jason David Frank died, I think, yesterday at the age of 49. What exactly happened is still uncertain, and I don't want to talk too much about that and speculate about that. There's a lot of talk about possibly suicide, possibly some sort of foul play. The whole thing is obviously really sad. We don't want to, so we wanted to go ahead and go live before I fly out, because I happen to be with my Power Rangers buddy.
Yeah, we watched through all of that together and filmed it.
When this happened, yeah, and we just ran out of time and had lots of other things we wanted to do together, so we've never gotten back to Morphomania, but we got through like half a turbo.
We got through all of Jason David Frank's original run.
That's true, yeah. We got through a lot of the stuff that I most wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I still want to at some point skip forward to more of the shows that you and I really care about and do some Dino Thunder.
Yeah, we need to do some more space. We need to do some more Dino Thunder.
Absolutely.
Which we can maybe do soon because of this news.
Yeah, this would be obviously the right time to finally knock out some Dino Thunder. And I've been wanting to do a series overview, kind of story analysis of that show. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so I kind of wanted to just go on for 20, 30 minutes and reminisce a little bit about Jason David Frank and his role in Power Rangers. Everything about this is really odd and ironic. Really ironic's not the right word, but just strangely coincidental. Same month that we've lost Kevin Conroy. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
This is nailing your childhood right here.
Yeah, just to the wall. I mentioned this with the Kevin Conroy stream last week, and only like a week apart. Like, he just passed, like 8 or 9 days ago, I think.
And that one was surprising, and this one's even more surprising. He's even younger.
Yep. Because, of course, Kevin Conroy was a case of somebody who was sick and nobody knew about it. And this seems to be a very different case, probably. But anyway, I don't know. I'm reeling a little bit. This is one of those moments where I'm like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to broadcast right away. With Kevin Conroy, I waited. Here it was kind of just, again, the weirdness of being with you. I'm like, we should talk about this.
Yeah. And it's still very raw. Like, we literally just we went out to breakfast and we found out literally, I think Brandon sent it to you.
Yeah.
On the way.
Like when we got back.
Right when we walked in from getting back from breakfast. So yeah. Still very raw. We're just kind of verbal processing it with you guys. So
I mentioned this when I did the Kevin Conroy stream. I have a rotating group of photos from my kids' childhood going all the way up in our kitchen on our monitor, and we have 2 images of Jason and I, or Jason meeting actors, and one of them is Kevin Conroy and the other one is Jason David Frank, and we lost both of them this month. Wow. And these are images I see on a daily basis.
No, that's
and it's cut me to the core a little bit.
Yeah, you might have to take those images off there for a little while.
Well, I mean, I can handle it.
So I mean, basically we wanted to more make this a tribute to him and not just us being sad for 30 minutes.
But I am sad.
Yeah.
I do have to throw that out.
Absolutely.
So it is kind of odd. I'll throw this out real quick, and we'll try to, obviously I don't want to make light of the situation, but we'll try to be as lighthearted as possible.
Yeah.
I only met DJ in person one other time. It was 3 years ago, and we shot a bunch of different videos together, and one of the videos we almost shot was a video about how DJ doesn't care very much for Jason David Frank, and just things that he finds irritating in the fandom, where like Jason David Frank is too synonymous with Power Rangers.
Yeah, but that's more about just the reputation.
The reputation,
it's
yeah.
Not like a personal thing.
No, I know it wasn't personal, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but I just think it's really odd that we almost shot that, And then 3 years later, I see you in person and he passes away. And now you're actually making a video about him in a completely different context.
It's a weird world.
It's really strange. But, okay, so talk for just a second. I mean, anybody that watched all of our crazy Power Rangers content knows this, but talk for a minute about your, like, nostalgia and background with Power Rangers and where he fits in all of that.
Yeah, so I was born in 92. Obviously, Power Rangers started in 93.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have caught the original run.
No, next year's the anniversary.
I was tiny, but I had a few VHS tapes, and I think I probably caught some episodes here or there at a friend's house. But the first VHS tape I remember having, I think I actually had one of those 5 first episodes. I think I had the Trini one, the one with the circus. The creepy clown guy and the pineapple monster.
The clown guy does conventions still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wow. Or at least he did when I was at MorphCon a few years ago.
But I also had an episode of season 2 on VHS, just a single episode, and it was a Zack episode. It was when Scorpina shows up, and it was a White Ranger episode.
Oh, okay.
And, so I saw that episode a million times, and Tommy was pretty central in that. Obviously, I watched as much as I could of the show, and then I watched the movie. I probably saw that a million times as a kid. And he's the main focus of that, obviously, because you got rid of Jason, and Rocky kind of takes a back seat, and the White Ranger's the leader now. So
because that movie is ostensibly about teamwork, but it's actually about how all you need is Tommy.
Yeah.
And then you can save the day.
So I saw that a bunch, and then I didn't see much of Turbo or Zeo. I didn't catch much of Zeo or Turbo until much later after the fact when I got these, or when they got on Netflix first, and then these box sets came out. Mostly I know him as the White Ranger. Like I've said, I've since gone back. And that's why it was always weird when I grew up. And it's like, oh, everyone loves the Green Ranger. Because I was a little bit younger, so I saw him first as the White Ranger in the movie. And then Dino Thunder was a big thing. Dino Thunder I watched with I have 2 younger brothers, so I watched Power Rangers with them, probably much older than I would have if I was like an only child or something. And we watched through most of Dino Thunder because, again, there was no DVDs yet, but they put out 5 VHSs of Dino Thunder that had like 5 or 6 episodes apiece on those. So I saw a good bit of Dino Thunder. That was like the show that I saw the most of.
Yeah.
And he's in a bunch of that. He's in a bunch in the beginning, then he kind of goes away. He's just a voice. He's
we just pretend
in.
Like he's still there. Yeah.
There's someone else in the suit.
He was literally phoning that in.
Yeah, he's trapped in the suit, or he's invisible for.
But he gets fun things to do right at the end when he finally comes back corporeal again. He's in the last episode.
Yeah. So those are the memories that I have most. Is probably the movie, season 2, and then Dino Thunder. I think so. I think that's probably my exposure to him. Did you catch like his first appearance on TV?
No, I didn't. So I come to Power Rangers for my age anyway a little bit late. I don't get into it until late season 2. So I also experienced Tommy for the first time as the White Ranger, and always thought of that first. And the Green Ranger thing had already happened, and so obviously I caught reruns after that and caught up. But Power Rangers is one of those things, and I had this with Ninja Turtles too, where a lot of my friends were really into it, and I didn't understand it yet. Like I saw commercials, and I was like, "This is very strange." Like you have like this device, and then you have a costume on, and I don't understand that. And why do you need crystals to make Zords happen?
The show doesn't even know that.
And then it turns out there's no reason at all. It's just 3, 2, 1, and then they go in. So I think like I had a friend that was really into the show, and I had like finally caught a few episodes here and there, and then I got really enamored with White Ranger after like staying overnight with a friend of mine who had a lot of the toys. He had the Tiger Zord, and I think he might have had a Saba. I don't remember, but we were like watching Power Rangers and playing Power Rangers, and then suddenly it was just all about White Ranger for me. And so like retroactively later on, I decided I think that Jason was my favorite Ranger, mostly because of Gold Ranger, of course, because as a lot of you guys know, I'm a huge Gold Ranger fan. But I was, but I was first kind of struck by the unique look of the White Ranger suit, and that's kind of what got me into the whole thing. So it is kind of all about Tommy for me also at the beginning.
Yeah. So I figured out which VHS tape I had as a kid. It was called Goldar's Vice Versa.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And yeah, there it is. It's got Tommy right on the front of it.
Yeah.
And Zach and Goldar, and it's a really weird episode where Bulk and Skull, it's like a Sadie Hawkins dance, and they have to ask there's like a female Bulk and Skull that they have to ask to the dance.
Yep.
Very, very strange episode. They never put the best episodes on the VHS tapes. I wish I was in charge of picking the episodes because
No, the one you said most prevalently was Zach's birthday bash. Like, why?
Yeah, that's very weird. But yeah, that was the Scorpino one. Yeah, I said I didn't have. You were talking about toys. I said I didn't catch Zeo because we didn't have cable as a kid. But I did have the toys. I remember I did have a Tommy, an Adam, and a Rocky of the Zeo toys, and they were really good toys. I think I had the Gold Ranger too. But yeah, obviously, so I only have the Mighty Morphin set, which is seasons 1, 2, and 3, and then the seasons 4 through 7, which is Zeo through Lost Galaxy. I do need to get the one after this because it has Wild Force, and I do want to get Forever Red. That's another thing. I did have that as a kid.
And you have to at least get, even if you have to get it separately, you have to at least get Dino Thunder at some point.
Yeah.
Just to have it.
Yeah, but I did have a DVD as a kid that was like a best of compilation and had like the finale of In Space and some like a Lost Galaxy episode, and it did have Forever Red on that disc, so I did watch that one quite a bit too, and that's a great episode. And he's obviously the big thing that comes back in that. I mean, a lot of big people come back in that, but he's one of the big ones.
Power Rangers in general inspired a lot of kids to want to get into martial arts. I feel like Jason David Frank single-handedly by himself was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Partly because of the katas. Because the Green Ranger and the White Ranger katas, which were great, and my kids use the White Ranger one some now, which is fun.
Yeah, that's on here. I wish the Green Ranger one was on here too.
I do too, but the White Ranger one's great because they put mats out on Vasquez Rock.
Yeah, it's crazy. There it is, the White Ranger kata. It's weird because the disc is green, but they didn't put the Green Ranger one on there. But yeah, I've seen both of those. I don't know if I watched it all the way through, but I got enough of a flavor for it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's got like a headband on and his red Zeo uniform. He's out there. No, that's very true. I think my parents own a martial arts studio my whole life, so I was in one from like my birth. But Power Rangers also helped too, and it helped get me into more like acrobatics and stuff, and adding that into martial arts because that was a big thing that they did early on.
He was always a martial artist first. We can argue about whether or not he was really an actor. I think for that show, his acting caliber was, good enough, and he had definitely. There was a charm and a draw to him. Obviously, a lot of girls found him super attractive, and he was one of those guys where guys wanted to be him, girls wanted to be with him. That sort of thing. But he just always seemed so like overly positive in that show. And like just his on-camera persona, and when I was a kid, that always really struck me. Where just nothing ever bothered that guy, and like they're all written that way. But Jason David Frank, the way he played it up, like whenever he'd walk into a room, was always, "Hi guys."
Yeah, he definitely, and that's the best thing you can say about him is how
he tried to always play interested. Yeah. When he was on camera.
Yeah, he always played it sincere, and he was definitely like enthusiastic about this until the day he died. Like literally, like he was still going to cons and still signing autographs. Didn't you say that he doesn't charge for autographs if it's a kid or something?
He takes pictures with kids without charging.
Oh, okay.
With a phone, but his autograph I don't remember being like astronomically expensive. I think he was one of the more reasonable guys with that. I had a really good experience with him when I met him in person. Obviously didn't get to talk to him a lot. It was a really long line. Same story I've got with Conroy. But he was really good with Jason, with my kid, and that was when he was like maybe 4.
Yeah, I've never seen.
I only met him once. I've a couple of those guys I've met more than that, but I only saw him the one time.
Yeah, it's a shame. We always talked about going to Power Morphicon, but we never did. I've only seen Walter Jones in person. He came to Dragon Con one year, but I've never met Jason David Frank.
Maybe at some point you can finally come with me to that show. I was supposed to go in 2020, and they got canceled.
Yeah, we were going to go together, and they got canceled. Senior Sticks puts in a $2 super chat. Mind if I read this?
Yeah, sure.
He says, DJ, were you the Jason David Frank of your group? Absolutely not. I was not the outgoing, like, extroverted one that was, like, always keeping the group together. Like, I was definitely the faded to the background person. Much more of an introvert.
Well, and of course, like, does he mean Tommy or mean Jason David Frank? Because, of course, Tommy was supposed to be a loner, ostensibly. And then he kept getting the leader moniker, and it always makes me laugh because it's like, okay, was he actually a good leader, or was he just a powerful enough ranger he could do it all himself?
Well, it's the same exact thing that happens with Wolverine. He's supposed to be the loner type, but because it got so popular, he's always there, and he's always on the team.
Yeah.
He's often leading the team, like in X3.
It never felt to me like Zeo really had a leader. Like, he was the Red Ranger, and like that seemed much more of like a cohesive, nobody's really in charge kind of team. And then Gold Ranger comes along, and he's more like the outsider that just shows up when he's needed.
Yeah, he gets to be like.
It was weird when they reversed it.
Yeah, it's funny how that worked out, where they literally the two actors flipped. But that's probably because that's based on a Sentai where it's literally like a government team, I think. So there's more like officials, and they're all on the same team at the same rank or something.
Yeah, you're not going to have as much of that footage of the Red Ranger taking charge.
Yeah. But yeah, he says we're either Jason, David, Frank. Yeah, I don't think I would have a lot in common. I'm not the like the fun guy that plans all the events and stuff. I'm the introvert guy who just says something funny in the background once in a while.
I gotta say, this one is as much, if not, probably more of a shocker than Kevin Conroy, of course. He just did an interview this last year. Maybe it was late the year before, I forget, with Kat and Nakia.
On
their show, yeah, Power Rangers Playback. They did him and Austin St. John not too far apart.
Wow. Are they? So they're watching through every episode?
No. They're just doing live interviews with actors.
Okay.
They do some the name is misleading. It makes it sound like it's what we were doing, but it's not. Yeah. But they occasionally have done videos where they'll watch an episode back and talk over it.
Okay.
But that's not the main thing they do.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the comments really surprised by this. Some folks finding out through the stream. Some folks just having heard about it.
Yeah. Sorry, we have to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah.
It is interesting that
I'm sorry you didn't get to see him though.
Yeah, it is interesting that the big reunion show is happening. Is it next year? And he wasn't going to be a part of that.
He wasn't going to do it anyway. Yeah. He officially retired from Power Rangers, which was kind of curious. Because he wasn't doing Power Rangers regularly. I thought it was really funny when he said that.
Yeah, I don't know what that meant. Did that mean he was going to stop going to cons and stuff?
No, I don't think so. I think he was just like, if they ask me to be on shows, I'm not going to do it anymore. He said he gave enough to the franchise, and his big thing was he had a lot of tattoos and didn't want to cover them up. And I'm pretty sure that's the real reason.
Yeah, well, if he was exhausted, that's totally fair. I mean, he has done more than anyone else. And it's probably exhausting, especially going to cons and sitting there all day. But yeah, that would have been.
Well, again, like I think the con thing he was still doing.
Yeah, that would have been very interesting. Like, because it would have messed up shooting if he was going to be a part of that. I don't know if all that's shot.
I think it's all shot because or at least most of it must be with the reunion stuff. I would assume because we've had set photos.
Okay.
With because they brought Cat back and they brought Sam Jones came back and
yeah, that's nuts.
I think Adam.
I wonder if they'll do anything.
I'm not sure.
They'll probably dedicate that like the first episode to him or something.
Jar Jar Ad. I mean, why cover the tattoos? Is tattoo shaming still a thing? I'm not sure I buy that Tommy Oliver gets all those tattoos.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that Tommy Oliver became a paleontologist either.
Me neither. But once we have that, especially the Dino Thunder version, I'm not sure it happens. The problem is I'm not knocking Jason David for tattoos. I have several myself now, but I feel like being out on the hands and being so prevalent and everything, I feel like just that. So understand, I'm separating the character from the actor. Something would have had to have happened to that character, like possibly something tragic or really extreme for him to go that far, I would think. But the other thing too is he had a lot of really personal tattoos, and so it's kind of impossible to make that natural for the character.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't come from the same place. Like, he's an actor who's playing a character. The character is not the same person as the guy. And those, those two personalities are not completely in the line. Like, Jason David Frank was not Tommy Oliver. Like,
yeah.
He was a different person. And he lived life kind of hard.
Yeah.
Did a lot of MMA and
this is
that kind of stuff. I think he was mostly focused on his dojo more recently, and also the film he was doing, which sounds fan filmy, like it's Power Rangers-esque, but it's not Power Rangers.
I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, Legend of the White Dragon, which he's been. There's been a lot of speculation about whether it will ever come out, because he's been touting it up and shooting it for a long time now. I read this morning that it's all filmed and supposed to come out next year. So, and I think they'll probably, whoever else was working on that with him, because I think that was a Bat in the Sun project, maybe. And I think they'll probably, obviously now that he's not with us anymore, make absolutely certain that comes out and we see it. But
yeah, they definitely will.
Maury Daniels says Tommy last appeared in Dimensions in Danger and Ninja Steel. I think that's right. Yeah. Which is not great, unfortunately. That's when Kat comes back also, and they're supposed to be married, but they never make it clear that that's true, and she gets like 5 seconds of screen time.
That's where he has like the legacy morpher and like has a fight scene with himself.
I think so, and unless I'm conflating it and this is something after that. But is this the same thing with Evil Robot Tommy? I think it's the same thing with Evil Robot Tommy.
Fighting like another Tommy.
Who's in the board game?
Oh, yeah, we should say we just played the board game last night or yesterday.
Yeah, and we didn't have a Tommy in our board game, but we almost did, because we were supposed to fight Draken at the end, and then we got beat before we got to, right before the last deployment.
Yeah, we beat Ranger Slayer, we beat Black Dragon.
Black Dragon.
And we got to Draken, or we almost got to Draken.
Yeah, so that's kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I mean, I do a lot of Power Ranger stuff, so I guess it's not that crazy that I did something related to Tommy the day Jason David Frank
Not
died.
that much
but
of a coincidence for you.
It's not that much of a coincidence for me. Maybe a little bit more for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just that this was the day that happened.
But you were only here for 3 days. Mm-hmm. So the fact that it happened while you're here is crazy.
Well, let's do the obligatory thing. What's your favorite Tommy costume? We've done all this before, but
I think it probably is still Green Ranger, even though I grew up with White Ranger. I don't like the White Ranger suit as much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like. It's partly because it's from a season that we never.
That's why it was so cool when I was a kid.
So it's so weird to me, but I will.
Is that it didn't look anything like the other costumes?
I don't like the. I don't like when he comes back and he has like that silver thing on his head in Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
That's in the thumbnail.
Which is really popular now.
I like the original green suit. Obviously the one from Japan, not ours, with a flimsy, fluffy, like weird vest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's still green.
No, it's hilarious, and I have to make fun of it every time it shows up.
It's not my favorite Ranger suit, but
it's all foam.
My favorite Tommy suit. And I like Brachio too, which I know is your favorite.
Brachio and White Ranger kind of fight for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on most days at this point it's probably Brachio. That's a really cool outfit.
Yeah, it's cool that he got to come back and get another.
I think it's
gold.
Yeah, and I think it's neat that show kind of had almost like 2 Sixth Ranger costumes.
Yeah, but it didn't even have a Sixth Ranger.
It didn't have a Sixth Ranger. Yeah, like not really, but you have because Dino Thunder is a 3-man team,
which I like.
I like a lot.
I much prefer the 3-man to the 5-man. I think Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder, and I think Jungle Fury starts out that way, but Jungle Fury just keeps getting Ranger.
Well, and then Beast Morphers does it. And Beast Morphers is hands down the best of the Neo Saban era. And felt a lot closer to the Disney seasons, at least in the first season. I think it falls off. I didn't keep going with it after the first few episodes of the second season, because I will eventually, but I don't know. They gave Zed another voice, and I can't have that.
I just think that's such a better way to do it. The three friends dynamic works better. You can develop those characters more.
Yeah, exactly.
Dino Thunder characters are way more drawn than a lot of the other seasons because
from the
so
beginning.
many of them. But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Brachio. So Brachio is like the perfect.
And I like staffs. That's my favorite
That's what I was
weapon.
about to say. It's the perfect combination for you because it's Tommy, but it also looks like Gold Ranger, which is your actual favorite Ranger suit, and he has a staff like Gold Ranger, so it's like perfect for you. I like Brachio, and then of course you got the White Ranger.
Yep.
Which is very Tommy reminiscent.
Yeah, and having Sentai footage, like they were so smart to go to that season. It was really weird it lined up that way because it's dinosaur themed and it has an evil White Ranger, which ends up just being kind of ironic.
And he's not just an evil ranger; he's a good guy that's like under a spell, basically, exactly like Tommy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is cool.
But I mean that part of it they made up. But I'm just saying they've got Sentai footage with a White Ranger they have to fight. That's in a dinosaur season. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, and you wonder how much of that was the reason that he came back, or if all that was just a coincidence and this was just the time that he was ready to come back.
Yeah, because that's lucky.
Yeah, and if it's either lucky or if that was just a really smart decision that they said, oh yeah, you got to come back for the season to be perfect. But yeah, Dino Thunder is my favorite. Someone earlier in the chat said, unpopular opinion, I think Dino Thunder is his favorite season. I
That's not an unpopular
totally agree with that. I think it's much better. As much as I'm nostalgic for this stuff, obviously the writing in Dino Thunder is better.
No, so Mighty Morphin watches like a show aimed at like 6-7-year-olds, maybe more like 5, and at least to some degree. And Dino Thunder watches like you're 10 or 11. Mm-hmm. So it's real grown up.
And of course we've got
Jar Jar Ed. We all know Red Turbo Ranger is the best.
Yeah, I was about to read that. So he's also got Red. I mean, I watched that movie a lot as a kid too, so I should have mentioned that earlier because he's in that. I saw him, do a front flip off of a cliff into a river 100 times. It wasn't really him, but I saw his character, and I saw him wrestle the snake in that movie.
It's ridiculous. Why aren't you morphing?
You only morph when you jump off the cliff to pad your fall into the water. Yeah,
real far away so you can't see the suit because it's a Turbo movie, not a Zeo movie, so you can't see the Zeo suit.
Yeah, and obviously Zeo's a cool suit too. He's just not the Sixth Ranger in that one. So it's just kind of standard.
Yeah, it's hard to put like Red Zeo over anything because it's all those suits except it's got a star on it. Mm-hmm. It is the coolest of the 5 probably just because the star on the helmet's kind of neat.
Yeah, I like the look of Adam's rectangle, but as we said, it's preschool Power Rangers.
It's preschool Power Rangers.
But he does have a really cool episode in Zeo, which we did watch together, where he gets to do the 2-parter where he's kind of turning evil again.
Yeah. Well, see, that's hilarious because it's the Machine Empire trying to convince him that the Power Rangers are evil.
Yeah.
In their opinion, the Power Rangers are evil.
We're just trying to destroy the world over here, and they keep ruining our plans.
Jar Jar Ed fired on the super chat. When Jason showed up with Kimberly and Turbo, was Jason the guy Kimberly broke up with Tommy for via a Dear John letter?
Maybe so. That's a good theory. It's a good fan theory. She found him. She went to the Peace Corps over in Switzerland.
The Peace Conference.
Yeah. The Peace Conference that never ended.
Yeah.
It was a really long conference. Went on for years.
Yeah, the comics were really smart to give us a reason for that.
Yeah, so they get caught up in something when they go over there?
Do you know about all that?
I don't know any of that.
Oh, no, they become the Omega Rangers. And that's why later on we have 2 different. They're basically like covert, somewhat like ethically ambiguous Power Rangers.
That's really cool.
And they have almost like an anti-Zordon. It's wonderful.
They're ethically ambiguous because they wanted to form a union, and Saban didn't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But we're like they'll actually like start fights and escalate things for the sake of the greater good. You know what I mean? So they're
that's really cool.
Yeah. And so there's a big kind of, I don't want to say Ranger war, but there's a whole section of those comics where those teams kind of have to go up against each other, and Zordon just like screams at Jason and Zach and Trini, and it's great.
Yeah, to your point, Jar Jar Ed, it is very strange that she's like, oh, I met someone else, I can't be with you anymore. But But then she's just hanging out with Jason a little bit later. Like, they're just best friends.
That's actually a really good point.
Scuba diving together.
I never really got any sense of chemistry from them, or that they had, any interest in each other, but the characterizations are so dense with that show that I guess you wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah, I just thought they were good friends.
The only place...
Because they've been friends since the beginning, we don't know how long they've been friends. They're all just friends when the show starts. Yeah, they're already been best friends.
Yeah, which is not how I would have done it. But yeah.
I like Down with Thunder, how they're opposites, kind of the Breakfast Club thing, like they did in the new movie too.
Well, I always thought the smartest thing Zordon could have done was cherry pick who he thought would be the best 5 from all over the world. He can teleport them, just bring them all from wherever they're at, whenever you need them.
Zordon got really lucky that the 5 most
deserving
candidates were all already best friends at the same school.
Yeah, and lived in the same place. Imagine if Green Lantern had to work that way, where it's like, it's not just one ring you put out, it's 5, and you have to have 5 people with the willpower that know each other already.
Now you're just making Captain Planet again.
But Captain Planet does it right, they're from all over the world.
Oh yeah. So Captain Planet was...
It had
made more sense than Power Rangers.
It really did. Anyway, back to Jason David Frank. We should probably finish up here. We really just wanted to kind of reminisce about this for a little bit and say we're sad. This month is nuts.
Yeah, obviously it sucks. Obviously it's much worse for the family, but this has just been a big important thing to us over there. It's the reason I became host on the channel. I wouldn't probably be on the Captain Logan show if I didn't do that show with you.
Yeah.
That crazy, wild show that we tried to do.
We didn't talk about Power Rangers so much. And
that started our friendship 100%.
Yeah.
Like that's where we became friends, was just
we've watched
talking during those
countless hours of Jason David Frank together.
Yeah, that'll make or break a friendship. And it made ours.
It really did. We almost watched some this morning together.
Yeah, after you heard that news, we were gonna go downstairs and watch it, but we decided to do this video instead. Talk with you guys.
Well, I'm not sure what else we should mention and bring up before we go ahead and finish up here, DJ.
Yeah, everybody go watch some Power Rangers today. It happened on a Sunday, so while you're sitting around at home or doing chores or whatever, just pop in some old episodes.
Thank you guys for jumping in and talking with us. We had a nice crowd this morning, and
big crowd.
Again, my apologies and condolences, because some of you guys probably found out about this through this stream. Jar Jar Ed, one more super chat. I remember at the start of Wild Forest, the Red Ranger was beaten up and drafted into the team. Imagine if Zordon recruited the original 5 that way. I've never seen Wild Forest.
That's true. He's just like a wild man, and they I don't know. I don't remember exactly why they forced him to be a ranger. That's
crazy.
That's the morally ambiguous Lord Zed. That's if Lord... not Lord Zed.
Lord Zed is morally immoral, in
Lord
fact.
Zordon.
It turns
Lord Zedon. Morally ambiguous Zordon. If he was like Professor X. That's, wow. That's another good thought.
There's kind of some coercion that happens at the beginning of SPD.
Oh yeah.
Because the like B team Rangers, well, one of them is like arrested and almost like thrown in jail or something.
Oh yeah.
And they get kind of conscripted to be SPD Rangers. Where I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen that, but I think it was it was something of an ultimatum kind of thing where it's like, well, you can either be a Power Ranger or you can go to prison.
Yeah. Well, Zordon basically does that in the pilot anyway. Like he just kidnaps
Daniels,
them.
I've seen Forever Red, of course, but I've not actually watched through Wild Forest.
He kidnaps them without asking them, and then they're there, and then he lets them go free when they say no. But now that he's done that, they immediately send putties at them, so he doesn't really give them much of a choice.
That's hilarious.
Because as soon as he lets, he's like, all right, fine, you can go. I'm not going to teleport back where I kidnapped you from. I'm just going to let you wander through the desert and let them send putties after you and everything. So you're forced to do this. Wow, he is kind of morally ambiguous. Good job, Zordon.
Yeah, and we play with that in the comics a lot. Like, if you actually think about the implications of things Zordon does, he's a little messed up.
Yeah.
I like Professor X for the same reason.
And they're both bald.
I gotta say, I always appreciated how much Jason David Frank, embraced the franchise. Over the years. I mean, he of course had a reputation for being a little full of himself and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But I like that he never treated it as too like silly or kiddie. Like he always gave props to where he came from. And I always really appreciate that. And like,
he never got too cool for school.
And you had a lot of those actors who had a hard time like finding work and doing other things, and so they kind of maybe needed to embrace it, and later on go into conventions and stuff. But like J. David Frank was doing some other things and still had that, you know what I mean? Like he had not really an acting, but I mean like he had a whole, MMA career, and he had his dojo and all that. Like he could have like left Power Rangers behind if he wanted to.
Well, he also had a better experience on Power Rangers than most people.
Than some other people did. That's right.
Like Billy and Kimberly, obviously those actors had to come to grips with it before they could come back, because they had really tragic experiences on that show and creepy fan stuff. But yeah, it's cool that they're all where they are now, and I think the remaining 4 are coming back for the 30th anniversary, right? I
think so.
I don't know if Kimberly's coming back, but I know.
I was gonna say I was hesitating with that. I'm not sure if she did.
Yeah, but I think Rocky. I'm just gonna say their character names because it's faster. But I think Rocky's Zach, Adam, Billy.
Yeah.
I think they're all coming back. So yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be harder to watch. Yeah. Because
again, he wasn't going to be there, but now it's weirder.
Yeah, now it's weird. Like if he chose not to be there, which was going to happen, and he didn't die, then we would have just watched him like, okay, he wasn't here, but now it's going to feel a little empty, because that could have been his last thing if he had chosen to do it.
Jedi Knight has Legend of the White Dragon been canceled. I said earlier, I read this morning, if this is still the case, that it's supposed to come out next year and that everything's shot for it. Mm-hmm. So that'll be his big posthumous thing if that actually ends up coming out.
Yeah, like you said, I'm sure they will. They'll dedicate it to him. And I think they'll probably dedicate an episode of the new show to him, probably.
Yeah. No, those are both, I mean, with him and Conroy, I mean, those are both huge, like, the big names people think about from shows that they maybe didn't even spend a lot of time with. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? J. David Frank is obviously like the big Power Ranger everybody remembers, and folks that haven't gone back to it in a million years still remember him. So this will be a big ripple effect thing. We'll hear about this for the next, several weeks. A lot of people will come out of the woodwork. Jar Jar Ed, $5 Super Chat. I read somewhere Turbo was originally going to be Zeo Season 2. Any truth to that? I've never heard that. That might be true, but yeah,
cool.
But I've never heard that.
I mean, they could have. They shot all new stuff for Season 3 of Mighty Morphin. They could have just said, hey, they got Carzords now, but we're still going to use the same suits like they did in Mighty Morphin Season 3. That would have been cool. It would have been weird. We have ancient Egyptian suits, but brand new Carzords. But I'm sure we would have accepted as kids because we didn't.
No, Senior Nerd, I haven't talked to my kids about this yet because I'm not even in town.
Yeah, that's going to be really weird.
Yeah, and that sucks with Jason with Conroy.
Yeah. Man, I didn't even think about that. My kids haven't even started Power Rangers yet. They're still really young.
Well,
especially because Jason's met him.
Yeah. And both of them. Like him and Conroy, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is a weird month. I hope it stops. I hope
it's a weird month. It doesn't happen in threes. These things tend to happen in threes, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, we've already done a commentary on the original movie, the Turbo movie, and the reboot. So yeah. I don't know what we've kind of done everything. Do a commentary on, maybe Forever Red or something.
We couldn't do one on anything I've never done a commentary on.
Yeah.
Because I've even done that before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just did Phantasm, which I've done a couple times before. So I mean, it's not a big deal. We could totally pick something we've done before just to reminisce. I mean, we did this. I'm
glad we did this.
But like it just happened, and I'm going to take next week off, so I didn't want to wait a whole week to come on and say anything about this.
Yeah. No, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
It's sad, but. It's cool to have all these people in the chat. 50, there's a lot of people.
Not super interesting or insightful or anything. I just got up this morning, but we just had a really big breakfast. This might be the
earliest live stream you've ever shot.
No, but it's been a long time. I did an early morning breakfast one with Dan when I was in Boston a few years ago.
Someone suggested we do a commentary for Green with Evil.
Which we've done twice now.
Yeah, we did. You did that with Eric, and then we did it in Morphin Mania.
Yeah, we did some Dino Thunder.
Good.
Actually, that's what we should do because I've never done commentaries on that.
We've done the thumbnail. We should do that episode.
Yeah, or like a mini marathon.
Yeah.
And pick 3 or 4 things.
Maybe a Friday coming up when we get back.
That's not, or a Tuesday for me and you.
Oh, yeah. Or Tuesday.
Because I've already got you Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be easier.
That'd be better for you anyway. Yeah. We're planning on camera again, like we always do. But yeah, shocking, unfortunate, but we can. But as DJ says, let's go back and enjoy some Power Rangers. And thank you guys so much.
Yeah, we gotta get you to the airport. 15
being
minutes.
here. I gotta go. Yeah, I guess
this is how much you care about Power Rangers. You're right down to the wire talking about it before we have to get you on a plane.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting here stewing a little bit, where I'm like, why is this happening right now? Anyway, we're gonna get going. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. And I'm gonna, like I said, take a week off. We've got Thanksgiving this week, and DJ's out of town, and then I'll come back the week after, and we'll be back to business as usual. I was Captain Logan, and this was DJ Martinez.
See you guys.
Bye, folks.